Politics. Joining us this morning, New York Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis, a Republican who represents Staten Island and South Brooklyn. And you also ran for mayor against Bill de Blasio back in 2017. Did you get this kind of attention when you were running?
I definitely did not get this type of attention, and they said that I didn't have experience at that time. When I was in the state assembly longer, I was certainly older. I lived in New York City my whole life. But look, I think there's a sharp contrast here, and you have multiple candidates to choose from. I personally think that Zohran is the worst possible choice for the city of New York.
Well, why is he relating to people in New York?
I think he's saying the right things, but if you examine what he actually wants to...
Why can't everybody else say the right things? It doesn't seem to resonate with the right...
Well, I think if you actually look at what he has in the past done, right? This is somebody who said he did support defunding the police. He was not going to cooperate with ICE to deport criminals. He is somebody who says there's no purpose for jails in our society. He is somebody who embraced the radical ideology of Karl Marx by simply saying you want to seize the means of production, you want to have government-run supermarkets, you want to abolish private property rights. These are very radical ideas. These are the things my mother fled communist Cuba over. And I don't think that we want to embrace somebody here in the city of New York. And I hope New Yorkers do take note, not just of what he's saying today, but what his history has proven. Because he also has called the NYPD the greatest threat to our public safety. These are radical ideas.
I mean, he's changed his tune.
He's changed his tune because he's running, right? And he knows he has to move probably a little more to the left, the right. But really, he is a dangerous candidate, and I really think people have to look at the history, not just what you're saying at the moment you're trying to win an election.
And yet, on Staten Island, where you've always been the strongest, he has made significant gains and did better than what was expected. I mean, what does that say about some of the things that are happening in your own backyard? Well,
Governor Cuomo did win Staten Island in that Democrat primary. I think that the people of Staten Island will certainly vote for Curtis Sliwa in this election, and you may see some voting for Governor Cuomo as a second choice, but I don't see the people of Staten Island resonating with Zohran's ideology.
Well, the Democratic group on Staten Island endorsed Mamdani, so...
Well, that's a radical group run by Justin Brannon, the councilman there, who has embraced the same policies, non-citizen voting, defunding the police, increasing our property taxes. The thing is this, if you're going to talk about affordability and you examine the policies of Zohran Mamdani, it's going to drive up the cost. Everything he wants to do will drive up property taxes, which will make New York City less affordable. That'll be passed on to you if you are a renter. Taking over supermarkets, that's going to drive up costs, drive down supply. It's going to be really problematic. What he's saying is not be able to accomplish with the policies that he's putting forward. In fact, it will have the opposite effect, and people will see that in time.
And yet so many people still supporting him, still sort of latching on to those ideas. You mentioned him, former Governor Andrew Cuomo, Mayor Eric Adams, Curtis Sliwa, all in the race. Would you support a Democrat if it looked like they would have a better chance of defeating Mamdani?
Well, what I will say is that I believe any of those candidates, any of them would be a better mayor than Zohran Mamdani. That's how dangerous and radical he is.
Cuomo?
Well, I've already endorsed Curtis Sliwa, and I'll tell you why. He has decades of experience serving this city, not in elected office, but he cares about public safety. That's why he founded the Guardian Angels decades ago. He cares about the homeless and mentally ill, has helped transition them off the streets with the work that he's done. He has gone on every single subway in this city, more than the transit cop, Mayor Adams. Okay, and then what I would say is he's visited every housing development in this city. He knows them inside and out. He cares about this city, and I think that if we really want to shake things up, we're not happy with the direction of this city under one-party Democrat rule, then let's give him a chance to be in elected office. He will surround himself with great people, and I think that we can do a good job here for the city of New York.
Can we talk about redistricting, because that's also getting a lot of attention? And our governor, Kathy Hochul, was supporting those Texas legislators who basically ran away from the state because they don't want to vote in a quorum. But I mean, redistricting. Kathy Hochul tried to do twice already. Right. Republicans fought it. They won. I mean, I think she was going after your district at one point, right?
Yeah, look, political gerrymandering is wrong, regardless of whether it's the Democrats or the Republicans doing it. As somebody who was a victim of gerrymandering, when the governor tried to build a district that was from the upper west side of Manhattan all the way down to southern Brooklyn. It was like a little snake for Jerry Nadler just to hurt me and try to eliminate my seat and turn it Democrat.
And what happened?
We took it to court. We won. My seat was the reason the entire map was thrown out. We got independent lines issued by a court. And then the Democrats lost 2 incumbents that year, and we picked up a number of seats. And then 2 years later, they changed the makeup of the court and tried to do it again, and we won again.
Seems like so much of it is a power grab at the moment. I wanted to ask you also briefly, you were touting your work just recently with the Social Security Fairness Act. 88% of seniors will pay no tax on their benefits next year. What has your work done with that you think is a positive?
You know, last time I was here, we were talking about this bill, and it finally got included in that tax package. What happens is they're going to get a deduction, our senior citizens, that for 88% of seniors, 51 million seniors across the country, it will erase their tax liability. When they go and file their taxes in 2026, they will get that money returned to them.
How do you then pay for that? I mean, so much of it is about eliminating debt and eliminate some of these issues, but it seems like something like that is eventually just going to add to it. I mean, young people might be worried Social Security is not going to be around in 20, 30 years.
I think that the policy that we put in place is great pro-growth, pro-jobs policies that will help build our economy. We're already seeing the GDP grow as a result. We're seeing trillions of dollars in investment private, both from domestic and foreign companies expanding facilities here in the United States. So I think we will be able to pay for that. But also, should we be balancing the budget on the backs of our senior citizens? They've worked their whole lives for that money. They deserve to have that money. It was an earned benefit. They shouldn't have to pay taxes on it. This was a significant step in the right direction. And the SALT deduction, by the way, families $400,000 or $500,000 and less will get the SALT deduction that will help provide relief for those property taxes, those income taxes here in the city and the state that are just, again,
it's
an issue for the affordability.
Okay, Medicaid, though.
Yes.
You broke with the party at one point. You were just very upset about what could happen with people who rely on Medicaid. Where do we stand with that now? Because there are a lot of people concerned about their coverage.
I think we struck the proper balance here. We were able to stop certain things that would have been hurtful, like reducing the reimbursement that New York receives from the state of New York. We still get the 50% match, 90% on the expansion, so that's fantastic. We stopped per capita caps. We stopped certain things that would have hurt. Now, what we did do is go after the waste, fraud, and abuse. And when we did that—
But how do you know that? Because sometimes people get swept up in the middle of that don't deserve to be.
Well, if you read the papers, there's constantly articles about people defrauding the Medicaid system. Our Attorney General just recently went after transportation companies that were bilking the program. So what we do is put in more frequent checks to make sure that people are eligible. If you're not eligible for the program and you're receiving the benefits, that makes you a fraudster. If you're here illegally and you're receiving the benefits, you shouldn't be. And then we put in reasonable work requirements, part-time work requirements, either work, volunteer, or learn 20 hours a week for people who are completely able-bodied. But I have to make very clear, seniors, disabled, pregnant women, people below the poverty line, children with disabilities, old children, are protected 100%. Nothing changes if they are a traditional Medicaid recipient in those categories.
Congresswoman, just quickly there, because they're wrapping us up. Jobs numbers came out last week, which were a discrepancy to some of the positive ones that had come out before. The president fired the person who sort of makes those job numbers. Are you worried about that?
Yeah, look, I think that maybe it was a rash decision to just fire the person. But what we are seeing is the right trend in terms of job creation. We're seeing companies expand and invest, and we're getting more fair trade deals, which is incredibly important. We're opening barriers to entry for American products. We're seeing more foreign investment come into the United States. We're seeing companies like pharmaceuticals, automotives, tech companies expand manufacturing facilities across the country. So this is all good news. I think it's great for the economy, and we will see once the tax provisions we put in place really start kicking in, both families, American worker, businesses will benefit, and I think that in the end will be the best vindication of this piece of legislation that has been highly debated.
Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis, thank you for holding down the fort in D.C. for us.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
We appreciate it. All right, well, Mike Woods holding down the fort.